Hey, everybody, and welcome back to today's episode of the Comedy Road podcast. Guys, I'm your host, Paul Roseberry, and my co-hosts,
Lina Green,
Jason Schuster.
And we are all excited to welcome today's guest, Elyssa Phillips.
Yay, thank you. I feel like I clapped for myself. Yay, thank you. Thanks for having me, guys. I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah.
I'm so excited you guys are doing this.
Yeah.
We're so excited. You're our first in-studio guest.
No pressure.
No pressure. Lots of pressure.
So much pressure. I'm Jewish.
Yeah.
I have so much pressure on me already that
Just be perfect and it'll be fine.
You sound like my mother. Great. We're off to a great start.
Give her guilt. Give her guilt.
As a fellow Jew, I can attest. This is something we were born with. There's nothing we can do.
Yeah, it's just ingrained. It's just ingrained.
Yeah.
But no, congratulations. I think this is great. I'm so excited you guys are doing this. There's nothing like this out there. So I think this is great.
A couple people tried. We beat them up.
Dope.
And we burned down their studios. So it's just us now.
Perfect.
Yeah, we're gonna do well.
Did you beat them up or did Lina beat them up?
I can't on camera explain any of that. I cannot confirm or deny.
I cannot say anything.
I just negotiated the whole deal.
This would make sense. The Jew.
Oh my God. Okay, let's get into it. We really want to know a lot about Elyssa right now.
Yeah.
So, God, let's just start with your background. How did you get into comedy, and tell us your journey?
Yeah, my journey into stand-up started, so as any good little Jewish girl in New York did, I started in theater and took that to college. I studied at the University of the Arts in Philadelphia, where I got a BFA in theater, and then I actually studied in England, because for a long time I thought what I wanted to do was be a classical actress until I realized they hate Americans. Just kidding. We love you.
We love
Fit in America right now. They'd actually be ideal.
Yeah, right? But I loved it. So I studied classical theater for a long time. Big fan of Shakespeare. And came back to the States, did a lot of regional theater. And my brother at the time, who is not an actor, was doing this thing called improv comedy at this place that no one had yet heard of, called Upright Citizens Brigade.
Woo, woo! I'm a UCB.
Same.
I got a couple under my belt.
I think most actors have at this point.
Yep.
Jason, you got silent. Have you never done UCB?
I didn't want to offend. I was a Groundlings guy. So.
Dude, no tea, no shade.
I didn't want to be the outcast.
Hold on. No tea, no shade to all of it. I think they're all great for different reasons.
Characters. You do characters.
I did Groundlings for a little bit, and it was not for me, but that's my whole point, is it's to each their own. Everyone's got their own journey. I kept telling my brother I would go to his UCB shows, and again, this is before UCB was, and no one knew what UCB was. So my brother was doing improv with all of the greats, with the UCB4, and I would go. I was like, where am I going? It's like a creepy warehouse in New York, and I'm gonna die. My brother's taking me to die, and he would always ask me to take classes, and I always said no, and I was doing. At the time, what I didn't realize was improv. I was doing dinner theater at that point. I was doing Tony and Tina's Wedding and Sheer Madness, which are both scripted, but also
long form improv.
Yeah, there's improv within the shows.
Yeah.
Because based on the audience reaction. And finally, I gave it. My brother was like, "I will pay for your 101 class if you take it, because I really think you'd like it."
Wow,
They're expensive.
Well, what are you gonna say?
Yeah, right. You can't say no. I mean, I guess you could, but what kind of a sister would I be?
Brother?
You gotta say yes and.
Yes, and that was good. That was good. And I took a 101 class at UCB in New York, and I never looked back. I went through the whole program. By then, I was going out a lot. I was going out a little bit on the East Coast theatrically and commercially, and I had done this thing where I traveled out to LA to test the waters and see if I wanted to move out here. And I was taking a lot of meetings, and everyone was like, you're so funny, but we can't cast you. And we bicoastal wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
At that point, bicoastal was no more.
Yeah.
At that point in the acting industry, it was you had to be in the city.
Right.
And so I made the decision to move out to LA. I started at UCB in LA, and I did not care for it.
It's cliquish. It's had a community that's really strong.
I have nothing but love for UCB, but what I will say is, for me at that time, UCB, I'm just going to say it, UCB New York felt like you do it for love of the improv and love of the sketch comedy. In LA, you do it because your agent told you to.
Yeah,
I mean, that's some truth. That's why we have this pod, is that we want to hear truth like that.
And not everybody.
It's evolved. It's evolved, and it's become
now it's a whole now it's
we
a whole
have to say
it's
that
not even UCB
for legal
anymore.
reasons. We have to. It's good now. It's great. You should do it.
No, it is. I was there recently. I've lived there.
But things
we have
have
a coupon
changed.
code.
Things have changed.
Things have changed.
Yeah.
And I have, and the manual, I think that the UCB manual is fantastic. I still refer back to it sometimes for inspiration. I think it's great. So at the time I was there, doing improv and sketch, and I met a friend there who was like, oh, you should check out Miles Stroth Workshop. And I was like, what the hell is a Miles Stroth? And so Miles, at that point, the theater was called Miles Stroth Workshop. We weren't yet the Pack Theater. And
The Pack.
so I was the artistic director of the Pack, which is how
Okay, yeah.
everything else came. But yeah, so Miles was on The Family, which is the last improv team to be coached by Del Close, who arguably invented improv.
Yeah.
Miles is old school Chicago. He is by far the best improviser I've ever seen in my entire life and the best teacher I've ever had in my entire life. And I took one class at what was then called Miles Stroth Workshop, and I was like, this is where I belong. Because I felt like it challenged me as an artist, it challenged me as an actor, it challenged me as a writer, it challenged me within comedy to push boundaries.
Yeah.
I'm ready to sign up.
You should.
Like, for real.
Honestly, there's still
Isn't
classes
there
there.
like a rift?
No,
Like,
I like this.
but how does it parlay into stand-up? Because there's like a rift between improv and
that's
stand-up. It's a
definitely
thing.
the question.
So,
Yeah.
I
But I
know,
just wanted to say
I'm
before
long-winded,
you
I'm
do
sorry.
that, when you find out where you belong, that can domino effect into so many things.
As
So-
it did.
And that's
Oh,
where
yeah.
I wanted to
As
see
it
where,
did.
Yeah, exactly.
And I know, I'm sorry, I'm so long-winded, I'm Jewish.
No, this is great. This is
You talk shorter than my mother, so
my God,
that's okay. Don't worry.
I realized when I started at Miles Stroth Workshop that nobody was like running it, that Miles just didn't know what he was doing. And I was like, no one's like running this theater. Like this could really be something. Long story short, I ended up becoming the artistic director for many, many, many years. Even before I was the artistic director, I was basically running it. I just didn't have a title because we couldn't figure out how to pay me. So I ran it for a very, very long time for free. And then I ran it for a very long time for a little bit of money.
God bless you for that, because they do really great experimental.
So you
It's my favorite theater in Los Angeles, my favorite comedy theater for improv and sketch. But I ended up, so during the pandemic, right, everything shut down. I interrupted you, and I'm sorry. I feel really bad.
Perfect. No.
Alyssa, he's going to need to go to therapy after this.
Just for this. Don't give me that
You're
much credit.
fantastic.
I put the entire theater on Twitch because I wanted people to still have like a way to perform during the pandemic.
Yeah.
So I moved everything on Twitch, and it was at that point where I realized that, like, I think for me, it was just like I realized I was not filling up my own cup, and I was filling up the cups of others for so long, which I love doing because I love helping other people and I love lifting other people up. I'm a full believer that a high tide raises all ships, but I wasn't happy inside. And it took-
Rising with the tide.
yeah. And I made the very difficult decision to step down as artistic director and focus on myself more. And what made me happy was stand up.
Yeah.
What made me happy, there I
Hey,
said.
man. Welcome to the
Bravo.
club, Alyssa. Right back, another one of
She's
those.
like the
That's
happiest
where-
stand-up I know.
I'm
too.
that-
Like,
This
everyone's-
is like
I know, I am
religious
not a sad
conversion.
comic. I always feel bad that I'm not a sad comic.
This is like,
Alyssa is the least depressing
Yeah.
comic you will meet. Her energy is infectious, and she brings the heat every single time.
Aw, thanks.
It's refreshing because a lot of times we talk in comedy from a self-deprecating standpoint, but when you have comics like you that come out and deliver this high energy, light kind of material, but like just it's in your face, but you're not like threatened. You feel good, and
Aw, thank
that
you.
Yeah.
that is what drives
Yeah.
people to come back and keep seeing you.
Well, that means a lot to me. Thank you.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I need validation.
hey, no,
That-
but
but that's
your
just,
energy.
And I can tell you firsthand. Alyssa hosted a show that I ran recently, and she made the show. You made the show.
The host sets the tone.
Yeah, and the host always sets the tone.
It was an impossible night. To be clear, it was
hard.
impossible, and the only chance we had was you going
Yeah.
out and exploding. No, you did not take no for an answer. There were people ripping hookahs who had
Cars.
no interest in comedy.
Yeah.
It was open air, so there were cars.
We got booted from a marijuana event on the other side.
Yeah.
And
comedy, guys.
And this is
Booted
this
from
is-
marijuana into hookah.
Yeah.
And this was the life of comedy. And me, as I'm producing it, I'm like, well, this is going to be interesting. But as soon as Alyssa came in, I knew we were in good hands. I mean,
Yeah.
she batted clean up. It was. I would even go as far as to saying before the show, I was like, it's bottom of the ninth. It's a 3-2 count. It's a
ugly.
3-2 count.
It's ugly.
Yeah, and but we got the bases loaded, and the Grand Slam's going to win this thing. So yeah, that's all I got to say.
That means a lot
Yeah.
to me, guys. Thank you.
Yeah.
Tell every single Jewish man you know.
I
Also, anybody in my network of single
Stop
Jewish
it.
fathers.
Stop.
Turn this into a
I got someone for you.
show.
Yeah.
We can do that.
I'm gonna find love on the picket line.
So-
That's my
Yeah.
goal.
I'm like,
That's a plug.
Like, I am super interested in knowing like your background, because where do you draw your material from? Because you have an array of stuff. Even your self-deprecating stuff is like happy though. It's like the fun time. Where do you draw from?
I am genuinely a happy person, but I think I draw from when I wasn't so happy.
Yeah.
And knock on wood, I will say I'm very, very fortunate where I can say like I don't want to say I've never been depressed, but
Yeah, you wouldn't be allowed to be a
I know.
comic. Yeah,
I know.
You'd be better with improv.
But I have to be honest,
That's-
sadness and depression is not something that I'm super familiar with, because I think I just come from like the mindset of like, if something goes wrong or if something goes bad or not the way I want it to, I find like a positive spin and like the positive attitude about it. And I know that's like infuriating to hear as a comic. I don't care. Like, that's where I draw my comedy from. It's like being able to take something that would normally be like upsetting or disappointing or
Yeah.
infuriating, and making it light.
Yeah.
Like, does that make sense?
Yeah, it's hard to do though, because it's
'Cause
heavy. Yeah, life is heavy.
Life is heavy, and I choose to see that heaviness as like an opportunity for lightness.
Yeah.
But that's just
Damn,
who-
girl,
but-
you're like the positivity episode. That's what this is. Because comics are dark. Like, they're going to be watched by comics and comedy fans. And this is inspirational for comics. Because
Yeah.
I'm sitting here being like, man, I should have called you every day for the last 4 years. You know what I mean? Like,
I hope so, but sometimes I feel like bad. Like sometimes I feel like comics are gonna hear it and be like, "Yo, f this girl," because that's not,
no.
like, you know what I mean? Because like, I don't know. That's just I just believe in like positive perspective.
So do you think that has helped propel you to get on a lot of the shows that you're on, to open for some of the names? I know you recently opened for Elyssa.
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. I think because, I don't know. I'm a nice person. I have high energy. I think I'm someone that people generally like to be around.
Yeah, and that's important in this business.
It is important in this
Yeah.
business. Sometimes I almost think it matters more than being funny.
honestly, it does. Like, it goes a
100%.
long way.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if Elyssa had ever seen me do stand-up before she asked me to open for her.
How about
Wow.
that?
Wow.
How did that happen?
I don't
though?
know the answer. I have been her server at the restaurant I work at for a very, very long time.
Stop it.
Along with her husband. They've been regulars of mine. They know I'm a comic. I try actually really hard when I'm at work not to bring up entertainment,
Yeah.
because I feel like people come to the restaurant to not talk about work. But when I've been there for 9 years, so when you've been there for so long, you have these relationships with people, you've been waiting on them for a long time, things come up. They know. So I've just had like a really good relationship with her. And one day randomly, we DM all the time, and then she sent me a DM and she was like, "Do you want to open for me at my first night back at the Ice House?"
Boom.
Wow.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Wow.
And it was amazing. It was, first of all, her audiences are just like the best audiences.
Yeah,
like,
they love her.
They're just like
They
down
love
to
her.
party.
Yeah.
She has the best audiences ever.
Millennials.
Yeah.
They come ready to go.
They
Right.
do. And like her like official opener, Hunter, who I got to go before, is like so hysterical and so amazing with the audience. Like they just bring like such like a light to their shows.
Yeah.
So it was great. It was amazing. I got to open for both her shows that night. So
That's amazing.
Hell yeah, congrats.
Thanks.
And
And,
that was recently?
Go ahead. Yeah.
yeah, whatever. Within the past couple months, it was her first night back at the Ice House since it reopened.
Since it reopened.
Yeah.
Do you think that has opened more doors for you from that standpoint, or and how do you market yourself on the road to get more gigs? Do you use that I open for this person or that person?
I only do when prompted. I get weird about it because I don't ever want it to seem like I'm like riding the coattails of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
But at the same time, it is an accolade that I'm really proud of.
Yeah.
So I'll bring it up like when prompted. So I don't know if it's helped me. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt to say that you opened for Elyssa Schlesinger
Well,
because
you want to
she's
feel like you open your own doors, you know, because you work hard, you put in the time, you put in the effort. You want to feel like if you get booked on something, it's because you have the tape, you have the material, you know.
That's what I hope. God, I have no idea.
But that goes along with it.
Yeah.
But that goes along with it. Like you opening for someone who is an established comedian who's been out there, that goes along with it. That means, okay, you've you've proven yourself, you've done your time, and this person saw that and brought you on. So it goes along with it. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, you're right. And I think that may be it. When I was like, I don't know if Eliza's like actually ever seen my set. Maybe she has and she just hasn't told me. Or maybe
she definitely looked you up before she called you.
Sure.
She's not a dumb girl.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
definitely looked at your tapes. Yeah.
But that's so funny. Well, at the same point, my guess was I was like, I think she sees my work ethic.
Yeah.
I think she sees my work ethic.
Well, and like you said too, people, when it comes to working together, people want to work with people they like. You know, if someone seems like a prima donna, they seem annoying, you're like, oh, I don't care how good they are, I'm going with someone else. Especially if you're going to travel. I mean, you were local with this one, but like, do you get out on the road? I heard that you're.
That's my next like goal. I've been asked a couple times, but to be honest, I've always been so wary about it from a financial standpoint.
Yeah.
It's a little bit scary, but I think I'm finally like ready to like take that step. So I'm starting to put the feelers out.
That's a good point. Can you talk about that? Because a lot of people don't understand what it's like to be on the road and like the financial aspect, and like when you're, especially when you're getting started going on the road, like you're not always getting the hotels and
No, you're
flying out and
usually
stuff.
not.
Yeah,
It's self-funded.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like I would like to think that if it was something like for Eliza to open, that things would be
You'd make it work.
taken care of.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But usually when you go off and you do these things, I mean, you guys know it's like you pay for your transportation, you pay for your hotel. You know what I mean? It's time away from your job.
Yeah.
So it's just a huge financial. I don't want to say loss because that's a negative way to see
Sure.
it.
Yeah.
But it does. It is a financial commitment. And it just depends like where you are in your life, you know, financially, what you can justify
Yeah.
moving around. You know what I mean?
But you are on the road essentially because you are traveling all over California.
I am traveling all over California
right now. So that actually is.
Yeah.
Oh, I call that road.
I call that
Yeah.
road too. That's
Yeah,
a
for
testament.
sure. Day trips.
Well, then, yeah.
Yeah.
Up and down that coast, baby.
Yeah.
I love it.
No, you go up exactly up and down the coast. You're getting new, fresh faces that haven't seen you. So it's a win because people think, oh, I have to be on the road,
Out of state
out
and
of
stuff.
state to get those new faces that are going to see me. But you can get that here in California too, and it doesn't necessarily have to be in Los Angeles.
That's true.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's so many places that have, that are not totally saturated like we are here in LA, that are dying for entertainment because there's just nothing going on in some of these towns, and
Yeah.
there's clubs.
Yeah.
And so that's a key thing that we have to think about as comedians of where can we get exposure, how can we get new people to see us, and where do we have to go to find that?
Yeah. It's also that balance, I think, of like learning to say no to certain shows is really interesting to me
Yeah.
and like difficult.
Totally.
Wait, tell us more.
Well,
Year
That's
of
bold.
no.
Well,
Come
because
Yeah.
you're like, no, I say yes to everything.
It's like saying no to ice cream. Like,
I
what are
mean-
you?
I
Wait
know.
a minute.
I have to say no to ice cream a lot these
Yeah,
days.
but you don't. But you haven't yet. Oh, neither do I. Neither do I.
Halo Top.
As we're like,
What's Halo Top?
Halo Top it's like 200 calories for the whole pint.
oh yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my
the
God.
Halo
Yeah.
pint.
I'm
Does it
calling
taste
Ben
good?
and Jerry, brother. I'm calling Ben. If I'm doing
it
ice
good?
cream, I'm doing ice cream.
All the other
It's
flavors.
good. It's like lighter.
It's
like a
the
lighter.
vanilla
Yeah.
is delicious. This podcast is also sponsored by Halo Top.
No.
Halo Top, if you want to sponsor us, I eat your vanilla ice cream all the time. Yeah, clearly.
It sounds like a lie
it
to me.
ice cream?
It sounds like I believe they eat it, but it sounds like a pint of lie. I want like 800
If I'm
grams
gonna
of
eat it,
sugar.
I wanna eat it.
Yes, hurt
Yeah,
me.
I don't
Make
eat it, but
bad.
if I did, I would eat
Yes.
it.
We're like,
yeah.
We digress. We digress.
That's right.
We're gonna do a taste test in a minute.
we
You're gonna
digress,
blindfold you.
Now I forgot what we were talking about because I'm thinking about how I don't eat ice cream.
Actually,
I know. I was like, we're not even
the last
done with
time I
this.
the sponsors here right now. Halo Top, come on in. We're all ready for you.
So you said no to gigs.
Oh.
This is a pinnacle
Yeah,
choice. This
people
is,
don't do that. Yeah.
Because it's like you want to say yes to everything.
Sure.
Why would you not? Every chance to perform is another opportunity to meet people, to get stage time, to work on jokes, to be in front of new people, like all those things. But again, it's like I think you have to like, and I don't say no to something if I'm like, oh well, if it's not at like this venue, then I'm gonna say no. Like I would never ever do that. I mean, I just told you guys before we started that I'm going to be like at a VFW hall. Do you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah, of
like,
course.
And so it's not like that, but I think it's just about being selective. Again, I think when it comes down to like your schedule and money and like how you're going to balance things.
Right.
Yeah.
But sometimes I say no to the bigger shows so I can make room for the smaller shows because those are the people that are going to follow you, and those are the people that are going to give you the laughs or not give you the laughs. Do you know what I mean? Those are like the real audiences.
Yeah.
Some of those smaller shows I think are like so important because those are the real comedy. Those are the real comedy fans.
I think it's important to touch on because a lot of comedians who are just now starting or hearing you saying that, they're like, no, you say yes to everything because it's an opportunity. But when is it important to, like in your career, to say no? When do you feel like you're there where you're like, okay, I can say no, this isn't going to affect me.
Because it's about protecting your own energy, I think. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's exhausting. What we do is exhausting.
Yeah.
And I can only speak for myself and for my own life, my own experience, but I'm a full-time server, so it's like I'm scheduled 5 days a week at my job, whether or not I work those 5 days, because sometimes I'm performing, whatever. Working out my health is a huge part of my life. So I work out.
Phenomenal shape. Killing it.
the way you move on
Killing
stage,
it.
like you got it. Like you are amazing.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
You're feeling good.
And thank you. And I take pride in that. So that's 2 hours a day. There's...
But you exercise?
Wow, I don't exercise
let's
7
not
days a week.
breeze
I
over.
exercise 5 days a week.
But you said 2
2
hours a
hours.
day you exercise?
Yeah.
Stamina.
Wow. You can
between
eat
like
ice cream.
lifting and cardio. I could.
That's totally up to you.
I truly don't enjoy sweets.
Good for you.
Oh, I
God,
love
you're
them so
you're
much.
Happy and you don't like sugar. I am feeling.
This is
like
why I'm
that
still
big.
single. Though,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna go sleep in
I
the alley
figured it
after
out.
this. I'm gonna.
I can tell you, as a new dad with a 4-month-old, I just been taking my kid and just
doing this. That's the only reason why I would ever have a
just
kid.
doing those dumbbell curls.
Legit exercise.
You have to have twins for balance.
Yeah,
I mean,
hamstring.
otherwise-
If only.
But
if only.
I wanted to talk about that, the why I'm still single, because I think that's something that is really growing with you, and it's become recognizable. It's a hashtag that you use, and a lot of comics, as they grow, there's certain taglines or certain things that we use to get us notoriety, for people to recognize. And I can tell you, one of the things that is becoming like synonymous with you is that hashtag, why am I still single? And you build stuff around it, and it's hilarious.
Oh, thanks.
And so how much does that come into play when you're pushing out content and building that into your brand?
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot. I think about it all the time, and like ways I can put it in or how I can turn things around, and I've decided that like I would love to come out of this actor strike with like an hour comedy special, like written at least, because if I can't be performing on television, I'm glad that I can be performing on stage, because they can't take that away from us. Could you imagine if they unionized comics?
He talked about that the other day.
Oh my God.
I mean,
It'd be awful.
I thought you were about to say, I'd love to come out of this strike with a husband. And you said with an hour-long special. And that, girl, is why you're going to make it, and you're going to still be single. That's why. You got the same thing, right? I was waiting.
I thought
was she about to say that?
I was sure. But that fork in the road,
The
for
only
real.
reason
This
why
is
I wear makeup on the picket line every day is because
I was mad at those people.
is because I'm trying to get a husband in my little like crossing guard jacket, helping like picketers across the street. I'm like, are you single?
Geez.
I do it into the megaphone all the time. All the time, I'm like, if you're a single Jewish man, please stop at the stop sign.
I'm casting non-union for a husband.
Yeah.
Is this a new bit? I think we got a bit for you here. This is
What?
This whole thing. I mean, why am I still single on the picket lines?
Is it a big part of your hour? Like, is it
Why
like,
I'm still single?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Because we're gonna put a hashtag right at the base of this screen
Why
as we
I'm
speak.
still
Yeah. Is it
single.
WHY?
WHY, I am still single.
But once you get a boyfriend, you're gonna have to change all that.
Never gonna happen.
Did it. It'll be hashtag
and
did
then
it.
it's going to become, why am I still married?
Yeah. Wish I was still single.
It's true.
Wish I was
Relish
still
the days.
Yeah.
I don't think it's in my future, guys, which is okay.
Come on. No.
I'm open to
Wait
it.
a
I know, as
minute.
someone who's so positive, it's like the
I
Finally, we can
know.
offer something to
Yeah.
you. We can offer you some positivity because you're a ray of sunshine. But
I'm
you
also
will.
realistic. So.
Wow.
But no, the mindset, and that's not true. Like,
No, I know. I joke about it. I mean, it's fine. I'm open to whatever.
I met my wife.
Literally.
I met my
What?
wife on J-Swipe.
Did you really?
Yeah.
she's
Yeah.
like, I did.
Wait, Jay Swipe?
J-Swipe
is different than
there's
J-Date.
J-Swipe
Bite
is
your tongue.
J-Date is like I feel like
Mainstream.
divorced parents go on J-Date.
Okay.
J-Swipe is more for a little bit younger of a demographic, and gives you that. It's like Tinder for Jews, except instead of
Yeah, there's a lot of
eyes.
Careful with that.
Instead of like just says you matched, it actually says Mazel Tov when you match. Yeah, it says
Yes.
Mazel Tov when you match. So I tried J-Swipe for a long time. I was like, there's no way I'm gonna ever meet my future wife on J-Swipe. But guess what? Guess what? It was I don't know what happened, but miraculously, I met
gonna try.
my wife. She's amazing.
They're so cute.
And
I'm gonna
we've got a
try.
4-month-old now. So don't tell me.
Listen, I'm on the latest Jewish dating app I found that I have now incorporated into my bid is I'm on the Locks Club. Have you heard of the Locks Club?
Stop
that?
it. I want to
I
join
want
it
to be
just
part
to
of the
eat.
Locks Club.
Locks.
Because that's like the lox and
Yes,
bacon,
Locks.
right?
LOX. Smoked fish. There is a dating app named after smoked fish.
Wait. Lena spent several days with my family back in Baltimore when we did our show.
I love them.
So we were like the epitome of what a Jewish family.
Oh, they're amazing.
Is.
I bet.
So I mean, she had lox, whitefish,
Oh,
bagels, and the whole
they
9
cooked
yards.
every-
We-
oh.
yeah,
The best.
she got the whole thing. Yeah, my mother. Can I feed you 24 hours a day? Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
didn't leave with a husband. Just to be clear.
Yeah.
Also, did not leave with a husband.
But-
So it's not.
But
it's
there
not,
But there were quite a few guys who I grew up with were like
willing.
willing.
Okay,
Lina, this is now going to be about why you're still single.
I need y'all to stop. Okay, back to Elyssa.